Tucker Carlson highlighted something incredibly sinister that allegedly happened with documents that allegedly prove that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were engaged in shady business deals that need to be reported about immediately. Now, I'll give you the details on what these documents allegedly contain, but before I do so, here's what Tucker Carlson highlighted on his show.
On Monday of this week, we received from a source a collection of confidential documents related to the Biden family. We believe those documents are authentic, they're real, and they're damning. At the time we received them, my executive producer, Justin Wells, and I were in Los Angeles preparing to interview Tony Bobulinski about the Biden's business dealings in China, Ukraine, and other countries. So we texted a producer in New York and we asked him to send those documents to us in LA, and he did that. So Monday afternoon of this week, he shipped those documents overnight to California with a large national carrier, a brand name company that we've used, you've used countless times with never a single problem. But the Biden documents never arrived in Los Angeles. Tuesday morning, we received word from the shipping company that our package had been opened and the contents were missing. The documents had disappeared.
I wonder if Tucker knows how ridiculous he sounds, Anna. I mean, it's got "the dog ate my homework" written all over it. But also, why would you go on air and declare to everyone, we are grossly incompetent? We, had that critical to the election evidence, critical to America evidence. And we kind of lost it in the mail. And I'm telling you that because in a best case scenario, we're the most incompetent news team you've ever seen.
Right, I mean, look, what he's trying to do is I think everyone realizes is like set the stage for some sort of interference, some sort of tampering, basically a cover-up, right?
Yeah,
this is a cover-up.
Yeah, and by the way, his dog also part of the deep state, and that's why he ate part of the evidence, and it's now deep within his bowels. So look, guys, Nixon said he had a secret plan to end the Vietnam War. Donald Trump claims to have a secret healthcare plan that he hasn't shared in 4 years. And now Fox News has secret evidence against Biden. But boy, they'd love to share it with you before the election. It's just that the dog slashed the post office, or not the post office, but a brand name company happened to nefariously take it out. And I'm sure, of course, whatever it is, I don't know which one it is. What can Brown do for you? I don't know, ask the deep state.
So the segment continued with Tucker Carlson alleging that there was an investigation into the missing package, the missing documents. So let's hear what he has to say about that. And then I'll tell you about what these accusations are, and you can judge for yourselves. Let's watch.
Now, to its credit, the company took this very seriously and immediately began a search. They traced the envelope from the moment our producers dropped it off in Manhattan on Monday, all the way to 3:44 a.m. yesterday morning. That's when an employee at a sorting facility in another state noticed that our package was open and empty. Apparently it had been opened. So the company's security team interviewed every one of its employees who touched the envelope we sent. They searched the plane and the trucks that carried it. They went through the office in New York where our producer dropped that package off. They combed the entire cavernous sorting facility. They used pictures of what we had sent so that searchers would know what to look for. They went far and beyond, but they found nothing. Those documents have vanished. As of tonight, the company has no idea and no working theory even about what happened to this trove of materials, documents that are directly relevant to the presidential campaign just 6 days from now. We spoke to executives at that company a few hours ago. They seemed baffled and deeply bothered by this.
Okay,
baffled.
So I have a working theory, but first, I love that he's like, the company took it very seriously and then bothered to track it all the way. Yeah, that's called the tracking number. We all have those. And then when the package gets lost, we ask them. And then they take it very seriously, even if it's you. Okay, that's just super normal. My working theory is, even if they find like pictures of a package that is empty inside, stay with me here. What if there was no evidence and they sent an empty package? And then they go, oh, can you believe somebody broke into our package? Oh, well, we had put all the great secret evidence in there. I guess it's lost forever. Tough break we caught. And by the way, what can Brown do for you? Got you.
All right, so let's get serious for a second and discuss what the right wing, particularly the Trump campaign, is trying to essentially manufacture as it appears right now. And the reason why I'm saying manufacture is because the allegations that have been made against Joe Biden have not materialized through actual evidence yet. Could there be evidence? Maybe in the future, but so far as this story stands, there's a lot of right-wingers running around saying that there's evidence, saying that there's documentation of what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are accused of, but yet we have not seen that evidence yet. So what are they accusing Joe Biden of? They claim that Joe Biden, who had publicly stated that he did not in any way engage with Hunter Biden's business dealings, actually lied about that and was part of consulting with Hunter Biden over a Chinese gas company and a business deal that company was engaged in or trying to engage in. That is the allegation, and that Joe Biden was allegedly paid $10,000 for his involvement in consulting in that deal. Now, understand that at the time that this allegedly happened, Joe Biden was not vice president. He had not launched his presidential campaign. So he was at that point a private citizen. And look, here's what the truth is. Hunter Biden serving on the board of Burisma was sketchy, and it's wrong, and I don't agree with it. Okay, that kind of nepotism isn't cool, but we see it all the time. We're seeing it in the White House right now. So if you want to be critical of that, I totally get it. But there has been no indication and no evidence of anything nefarious happening or Hunter Biden or Joe Biden carrying out anything nefarious. If there is, I would love to finally see documentation, data, evidence, anything of it, but I haven't seen it. So let me take you to the beginning of this accusation, the beginning of this story, which was written about in the New York Times by Ben Smith. And so he highlights a meeting that happened with Trump supporters, high-level people who are associated with Trump in October. They realize that Trump is lagging in the polls. They're desperate for some sort of scandal similar to Hillary Clinton's private email server. And so they come up with this idea. So in this meeting, you have a PR agent who's close with Don Jr. His name is Arthur Schwartz. You also have White House lawyer Eric Hirschman and former deputy White House counsel Stefan Passantino. And in this meeting, the three had pinned their hopes for re-electing the president on Wall Street Journal White House reporter Michael Bender. So they were hoping that Michael Bender would do reporting that would essentially make it appear as though there was something nefarious going on with the Bidens. They delivered a cache of emails detailing Hunter Biden's business activities and on speakerphone, a former business partner of Hunter Biden's named Tony Bobulinski. So Cenk had brought up Bobulinski in the past. We heard about Bobulinski for the first time prior to the presidential debate, the last presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Bobulinski was willing to go on the record in the Wall Street Journal with an explosive claim that Joe Biden, the former vice president, had been aware of and profited from his son's activities. The Trump team left believing that the Journal would blow the thing open, and their excitement was conveyed to Donald Trump. Now, the Wall Street Journal was supposed to publish some sort of expose on October 19th. That didn't come. Why? Why didn't they publish this incriminating expose on the Bidens? Well, first of all, red flag number one was Rudy Giuliani. Without warning his national allies, Rudy Giuliani burst onto the scene and delivered a cache of documents of questionable provenance, but containing some of the same emails to the New York Post, a sister publication, also kind of sinister, to the Journal in Rupert Murdoch's News Corp. Now, Giuliani's complicated claim that the emails came from a laptop Hunter Biden had abandoned, and his refusal to let some reporters examine the laptop cast a pall over the story as did the Post reporting, which alleged but could not prove that Joe Biden had been involved in his son's activities. Could the documents or Bobulinski prove that Joe Biden was involved in his son's lobbying? Or was this yet another story of the younger Mr. Biden trading on his family's name? Now, the Wall Street Journal does the investigation. They're trying to find evidence of these claims. They're trying to, they're looking through the documents. And here's what happened. Former vice president says he had no involvement. This is from their reporting that eventually came out. Corporate records reviewed by the Wall Street Journal show no role for Joe Biden. Anthony Bobulinski said that in 2017, Hunter Biden consulted his father about a planned venture with Chinese oil company SEFC China Energy Co. to invest in the United States and elsewhere. Bobulinski was also a partner. The venture, set up in 2017 after Biden left the vice presidency and before his presidential campaign, never received proposed funds from the Chinese company or completed any deals, according to people familiar with the matter. Corporate records reviewed by the Wall Street Journal show no role for Joe Biden. Text messages and emails related to the venture that were provided to the Journal by Bobulinski, mainly from the spring and summer of 2017, don't show either Hunter Biden or James Biden, that's the brother, discussing a role for Joe Biden in the venture, right? So I'm bringing this up because the whole allegation here is that Joe Biden was involved in this business deal, which even if he were, I don't really understand why that's such a huge problem, especially when you compare that to all the various things that Donald Trump is currently doing in dismantling our democracy, but all the corruption that he's engaged in, including funneling $8.2 million in taxpayer money into his own businesses since he became president. Like, I'm a little more concerned about that, but let me continue telling you more about this. There was only one piece of evidence that Republicans so far have been pointing to show that Joe Biden was involved in this, right? And this is what it is. An email Bobulinski received from partner James Giuliani in May of 2017 proposed a possible equity arrangement for the 5 partners. The email references 10 held by H for the big guy. Mr. Bobulinski said H referred to Hunter Biden and the big guy was Joe Biden. Giuliani didn't respond to request for comment, nor did the other partner in the venture. Okay, so that is the only thing that's been referenced by Republicans so far. And it's not a definitive piece of evidence that shows that Joe Biden was involved with that deal, right? If it's Joe Biden, he's referred to as big guy, but we have no evidence indicating that that's who the email is referring to. And again, like, my biggest frustration with this story is how annoying it is to have to read through all this stuff and come up with an accusation that I personally think pales in comparison to what we've seen Donald Trump do. And then also you keep having these situations with Republicans who are like, we got the evidence, we're gonna show you the evidence, we got the evidence. Okay, then show us the evidence. Show us the evidence, Tucker Carlson. Don't do this like weird segment where you talk about like some sinister thing happening to a package. Yeah. If you have the evidence, if you guys are competent, he claims that they have copies of those documents, then show us the documents. What's taking so long? I just don't. It's annoying that this is a story, but anyway,
yeah. No, so the Republicans do this before every election, at least recently. Boo, there's a boogeyman, they're all corrupt, ah! Okay, one, it covers up their own corruption, because then we're not talking about their corruption, we're talking about so-called corruption of someone else. And 2, they don't mind lying at all. So far, the provenance of the story is Rudy Giuliani said that it was from a laptop that the store owner got from. First, he said someone he didn't know. Then he changed it to Hunter Biden. Then he changed it to the store owner is blind.
Yeah.
Then Fox News loses the evidence in the mail. And I don't know if this, again, if Steve Bannon's dog ate anything, because he's involved in this story too. So I can't think of anything less credible than the people bringing you this story. In fact, let me tell you about Rudy Giuliani today. So the guy who came up with the story in the first place, he went on a bowling show, wherever the hell that is, and he claimed that Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, might be covering up child pornography.
Jesus Christ.
And that he should be, quote, put in jail. And then he went on to accuse him of perhaps working with the Chinese. So these are the lunatics that we're dealing with. And by the way, though, if Trump wins, there's a pretty good chance they put Jack Dorsey in jail. They're fascists. They're telling you. I mean, I didn't say it. Giuliani said it. He wants to put Dorsey in jail. Trump did a rally yesterday in Michigan or 2 days ago, and he mentioned the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, and the crowd immediately started chanting, "Lock her up, lock her up." They want to arrest all their, but Trump's not hiding it. I've told you this now 5 different times. Trump said, "I want Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton all arrested before the election." So that's what fascism is. So that's what we're dealing with here. So for anyone who thinks they're being clever or contrarian by saying, but I think Bobulinski might be talking about the big guy, who might be talking about Tucker's dog, who might be talking about Rudy's something or other laptop, right? Oh, get out. You really think that that's a real story? And you think that story is so major that it's like that's the main thing you should be talking about before the election, instead of all of Donald Trump's crimes and all of his corruption and all of his kids' corruptions? No one actually within their right mind believes that. So the people saying that, you should question their motives. So, and look, when it comes to us, we fight both. We fight the fascists and we fight the establishment. So you think we're gonna tell you that Hunter Biden working on the board of a gas company in Ukraine makes sense? Of course it doesn't make sense. And the Bidens get super touchy about this. You know why? Because of course Hunter Biden cashed in on his name. Of course, he doesn't know anything about Ukrainian gas. And the Bidens and the Democrats and the media telling you, no, Hunter Biden's an expert in Ukrainian gas. That's why people don't trust them. It's absurd. It's absurd, right? But does the rest of the media also tell you about all of the Democrats and Republicans whose family members cash in on a regular basis in DC? Orrin Hatch's son was a lobbyist. Coincidentally, I mean, he would never meet with his dad, but everything he lobbied for, Orrin Hatch helped to pass. And he got paid a ton of money for that. Did anybody talk about Orrin Hatch's lifelong corruption with his son? How about Norm Coleman's wife, who had a no-show job for a ton of money on an issue she didn't know anything about? The media honestly regularly covers this up because of their beloved goddamn politicians in DC that they love and the rest of us hate. But if you think the Hunter Biden non-story is as important as Trump's corruption, you're not very bright. And you're a useful idiot that others are using in this case. We're both telling you the serious part, the light parts of it. That's what we're doing a poll. Was it the dog who ate the homework? I don't know. So we're asking you guys, tyt.com/polls. It could be the dog ate it. It could be dog the bounty hunter ate it. It could be that the deep state ate it. And or maybe, just maybe, those secret documents that Fox News used to have don't exist, and they're goddamn liars. Woo, what a controversial opinion. All right, lastly, I just wanted to let you guys know, we also had secret evidence. And you're not gonna believe this. We also lost it in the mail. Oh my God, I was sending it to Anna across town. And it just got, and we did a tracking number on it.
It was a deep investigation.
Oh man, God.
Very deep investigation.
Man, UPS spent all 1 to 2 minutes on it to tell us where the package was. And inside the information in package, it had very incriminating information about Donald Trump. Number one, it said that he had sexually assaulted or harassed 26 different women. It said that he had also paid off hush money to porn stars he was cheating on with his third wife. It also said that he lost track of 545 kids and locked them up in a cage for the last 3 years and didn't do anything about it. It also said that he suggested injecting bleach into your body to cure coronavirus. I know you're gonna think come on, that couldn't possibly be true. Who would be that monumentally stupid? Young Turks, you guys are making up that evidence. There's no way that evidence is real. It also has further evidence that he, because of his deep incompetence, cost the lives of 225,000 Americans and counting. And
intentionally downplayed coronavirus. Evidence said that as well.
Yeah, and that he said that windmills cause cancer and that veterans are suckers and losers. And that he ran a sham university where he would rob people intentionally and he had to pay a $25 million fine for that. And that he ran a sham charity where he ripped people off and he had to pay a fine for that and he had to admit his guilt in both of those cases. Oh, right, that didn't get lost in the mail. Those are all things that actually happened and we all know. And you're worried about Hunter Biden with his addiction problems, how he was trying to cash in Ukraine and China without Joe Biden being involved. Wow, you guys are true journalists. Bobulinski and Giuliani and whoever else online is pushing that crap.
What doesn't help is when you have people like Adam Schiff automatically coming out and saying this is part of a Russian disinformation campaign when there's no evidence of that either, right? So look, we don't need Russia to get involved in a disinformation campaign. Republicans, the Trump campaign, they're all about disinformation. Like, why needlessly, get out in front of any evidence and say that this is a Russian disinformation campaign? That needlessly distracted from what the reality is. And it's frustrating, and I don't know why Democrats have that knee-jerk reaction to automatically just say, it's Russian disinformation. No, it's Trump campaign disinformation. That's what it appears to be at this moment.
Anyone who has followed the Russian story knows, I think Trump took money from the Russians. Why do I think that? Because Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. have said it on multiple occasions. I think he owes them money. So I have good credibility here to say, Democrats, shut up about the Russians. Like everything that happens, like Russians. Rudy Giuliani is literally a lunatic. And he's talking about how the founder of Twitter should be locked up for child pornography. Let's also note for the record that Rudy Giuliani just got busted trying to hit on a very young reporter. Okay, now he's accusing others. What do you need the Russians for? And why are you talking about that? Look, I have evidence that I have shown, unfortunately, far too many times here, because people are like, oh, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, okay, of the Trump's dealings and financial ties to the Russians, okay? But there's evidence of that. There's no evidence that the Russians are with Rudy Giuliani, and you don't need the Russians to be tied to Rudy Giuliani, but they can't help themselves. Just in case we lose, Russians. Oh, for God's sake, man. Totally incompetent. And the fact that they can't beat back this silly little story, and they ask the media to beat it back for them. Hey, why don't you get up and fight back? And typical Democrats. So if you can't tell that we're not on the side of the Democrats or the Republicans, we're actually trying to figure out what's real, you're not paying attention. And if you think somebody else who's completely biased in one direction and doesn't give a damn about the facts and doesn't care about being fair is the one that's actually unbiased, and that every time it just so happens that the right wing is right on one media outlet, and every time in another outlet it happens that the left wing is, not the left wing, corporate Democrats are right? Oh golly gee, I wonder how that happened. And you trust them? Are you insane? Okay, look at the actual facts. The corruption overall in Washington is the biggest story that the media ignores.
Yep.
This particular story is horse crap. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.